Hello everyone and welcome to the House of Gamers Pathfinder Kingmaker playthrough. My name is Nathan and I am going to be taking us through this epic journey that this game has to offer. 100+ hours of gameplay. I'm so excited to delve into this. I've played this game for a couple hours when it was first launched, but it had a lot of bugs. It had a lot of game-breaking issues that needed to get fixed. So I just kind of put it on the back burner for a while. Now that it's had time to patch up and they've fixed a lot of the issues, they've changed a lot in this game. Almost the entire beginning of the game is supposedly completely different. So I am excited. I hope you're all excited. I know there are a lot of Pathfinder Kingmaker Let's Plays out there. So I appreciate it so much that, you chose this video. Hopefully you stick around with me. It's going to be a lot of fun. And this is my first time ever streaming a game. Ever. So I'm very excited. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Cool thing about this game is how diverse the difficulty settings are. You can make this game as hard or as easy as you want. So we're going to go through some of this here just to kind of change some stuff around. I'm big on challenge. I like when a game challenges me, but I do not like when a game feels impossible. I want it to feel challenging while also being easy enough for me to progress through the story without constantly repeating combat and stuff. So let's see. When this option is switched on, neither your character nor your companions will ever die from any damage or effect. They will only become unconscious and will... Yes, definitely. I played this game the first time with this turned on, and I think most of my companions were dead. Dead, never coming back within like the first 2 hours of gameplay. It was ridiculous. Remove negative effects on rest. With this option switched on, blindness, ability damage, and numerous other negative effects will be removed immediately upon resting. Yes. Regular Dungeons and Dragons. I believe Pathfinder as well. Long rests pretty much cure you of almost any ailment unless it has some sort of time duration on it. Auto level up, definitely want that off. I want to level up everybody myself. Enemy stat adjustments. Yeah, let's keep it on somewhat easier. I don't know how much they've actually played around with the enemies, but when this game first came out, they were tough. Combat felt almost impossible. So let's just keep it on somewhat easier. I believe we can change this stuff in game if we have to. So if it feels too easy, I'll just up everything. Keep that on normal. No, definitely not, because weight is a huge issue in this game. Kingdom management, I've never gotten that far yet. Only active companions receive experience, definitely not. I want everybody to level the same, whether I'm using them or not. Only skill user receives skill check experience. No, everybody needs to gain experience all the time. Only one save slot is available. The game saves automatically. No. This mode disables almost all interface hints, lines of attack, current enemies, cooldown timers. Shows your character's actions and enemy's health bar. Let's try that. Let's turn that on. I'm all for immersion. I'm all for less HUD in games. Show tutorial. I don't need that. I've played this game before. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Pathfinder or this type of game, this is a kind of top-down style strategic RPG or tactical RPG. If you've played the first Dragon Age Origins, Dungeon Siege, Diablo. It plays very similar to those types of games. Each party member has strengths and weaknesses and their, different class abilities, and you kind of have to mesh that all together in a well-oiled machine to really excel at combat. So, keeping the squishy mages out of melee and keeping the fighters, up front, keeping the enemies busy while your archer tears them to shreds. That's the kind of game this is. So we are going to do a new character. I haven't really thought of a character concept going into this. I like the idea of magic, but magic is very limited at the beginning. Let's see what kind of portraits we have here. Still pretty limited. It doesn't look like they've added any portraits. I really like the idea of playing as a ranged character. I really do. Maybe like a ranger or a fighter. But then again, I really enjoy melee combat. You know what? Let's stick with him. Let's stick with him. Let's see. Humans, +2 to 1 ability score, and +2 bonus to an ability of their choice. Feat and skilled. Humans are kind of your all-arounders. They're not really good at any one thing. They're just kind of good at everything. Aasimars. Humans with a significant amount of celestial or other good outsider blood. While not always benevolent, Aasimars are more inclined towards acts of kindness rather than evil. Aasimar heritage can lie dormant for generations, only to appear suddenly in the child of 2 apparently human parents. I think I might stick with this. Acid resist, electricity resistant. Having resistance to magic, crucial. So good in a game like this. +2 bonus on saving throws against becoming blinded or dazzled. Most I don't know exactly where their celestial powers came from, and the similar qualities of many such celestially touched beings hint at a relatively indistinct or all-encompassing heavenly force in their lineage. Inherited from their supernal forebears, attributes that hint at the precise type of celestial being that affected their ancestors. Let's choose this. I'm growing the character concept as I go here. Right now I'm thinking a paladin or a cleric. I like the ability to have both magic and, heavy melee potential at the same time. Oh, that's way too skinny. Yeah, we'll just stick with the regular there. Oh, he just looks angry. Let's go with that. Hair. And yeah, as you can see, customization as far as appearance is kind of limited at the beginning. The character customization really comes down to how you dish out your stats, what abilities you choose, what path you choose in your class. I'm kind of trying to keep it true to the portrait here. Blue hair, that's interesting. That looks absolutely ridiculous. He's got kind of a swept back look. Short hair, maybe. Oh, maybe like that. I like that. I like the whole man bun look. Sorry about that. Someone called me. We'll just go with the clean-shaven look. That is perfectly fine. We will have him be right-handed. There's so much to this, guys. I'm telling you, like, classes in this game are just absolutely absurd. How customized you can get with this kind of stuff. Oh, let's see. Inquisitors. There's the paladins there, which I'm heavily swaying towards a paladin, or maybe a cleric. That sounds nice. Serve the militant arm of a church, ready to stand guard over the religion's holy places and to be its swift avenging arm against those who resist its truth. What do we got in here? All simple weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields. Favored weapons. But no heavy armor. Let's see what we got in here. Paladins. Smite Evil, really good ability to have. See, they're proficient with all simple and martial weapons, and with all types of armors, and with shields. Now, being a paladin, we're going to have to stick to our alignment restriction, which basically forces me to be lawful good, which means I make the best, most selfless decisions in the game. If I stray from that path, I risk losing everything I have. So, that's going to kind of add a little difficulty element in when I'm basically forced in a position to be selfless at all times. I think I'm gonna stick with Paladin. You know, I'm liking this. Just a regular Paladin is fine. And Charisma. Charisma is their ability. We gotta choose an Aasimar Heritage. So yeah, I mean, we've chosen our class now. You saw how many selections there were for a class. There was like, what, 12 classes? Each class had 4 additional options that customized the class even more. Now we're getting into racial customization. I chose I wanted to be an Aasimar. Wisdom and Charisma. And now I actually have to get in here and choose what kind of Aasimar I am. So, crazy. Obviously, the Angelkin would probably be the best choice for a Paladin. +2 racial bonus to strength and charisma. I mean, those are like 2 of the Paladin's main ability scores. And they get a bonus on religion and use magic device checks. Very useful. Let's see. Here's a constitution and charisma. Adilican possess bestial aspects and calm disposition, and often act as a peaceful intermediaries between lawful and chaotic agents of good. Okay, Lawbringer. So let's go with Angelkin. I think that's going to be the best fit for the kind of build we're trying to make. Alright, so now we're at the skills page. So ability points affect your character a lot. You know, it's basically what defines your character as what it is. So these green thumbs are my class's main abilities. So Charisma is what I use for all my spell casting. Constitution affects how many hit points I have, how much damage I can take. And Strength affects how much damage I do with all my melee attacks. So this is when it gets kind of tricky to balance this stuff out, because we only have so many ability points. So I can't just dump everything, you know, into my 3 main stats. I kind of have to be careful with what's going where. And you see it actually gets more expensive now. After you hit 15, it actually costs 2 points to bring it up higher. So it gets expensive very quickly. So if I put all these at 16, that should be fine. Now usually I'll choose one dump stat. So like a stat that my character's not going to use at all. And I'll actually lower it to give myself more points to put in one of my main stats. Or to more balance my character with some of my other non-essential stats like dexterity or intelligence. So, let's see. Let's see. Wisdom. So wisdom affects your will saving throws, your perception checks, which are very useful. Perception's a huge skill to have. Number of skill points gained each level. Dexterity. So I'm thinking dexterity is going to be my dump stat, mainly because I want to be as heavily armored as possible at all times. I want to have a shield, I want to have a sword, I want to be up front in combat, you know, trying to take the damage. When you're in heavy armor, dexterity really becomes irrelevant. Other classes, it may affect your other classes, it may affect your armor class, which is down here. Armor class is how hard it is to hit you. So you want your armor class as high as possible. You want your health as high as possible. Damage is kind of a meh. And you want your spells to be potent, because although paladins don't receive many spells, they're still useful. You know, they're like healing spells and stuff like that. So, figure out here which one of these. I think I'm going to put... See, but that takes the rest of my points. I don't want to do that. So, 16 is fine. As far as these go, I'll up my wisdom. And then I can get 1 up to 17. So let's go ahead and do Constitution. Now, skill points, this is another huge aspect of your character. So these skills are skills that you use all the time within the game itself. Stealth, pretty obvious what that means. Mobility, your ability to move freely. Athletics, your ability to, presents your character's physical ability, leaping, scaling walls, swimming. These check marks represent what my class is proficient in. So these skills are the skills that my class gives me access to. So notice how, well, I'm level 1 right now, but every time I up one of these check skills here, Notice how when I put 1 point in it, this right side goes up by 2. Oh, actually it goes up by 4. So that's what the training does, is it gives you a huge boost to your total, whereas if I were to do perception, it only goes up by 1. So, I want a high persuasion because I want to be able to convince people of my purpose. I want to be able to talk my way out of combats. I also want some religion lure, being first of all, a angelic being, essentially a half angel, and also because I am a religious warrior that fights for their religion. And I only have 1 point left. So, perception is very useful, but if I put it in perception, I'm only getting a +1 in it. Nature, I just feel like I'm going to have another party member that excels at that much more than me anyway. So I think one of these knowledges are going to be my best case. Knowledge about spells, magic items, and numerous bits of magical lore. Your character's knowledge arcana skill enables you to identify magic items and monsters, learn or borrow spells from spellbooks and scrolls, and recall knowledge. Useful, very useful. This skill represents a character's knowledge about people, systems that make civilization run, and historical events that made societies what they are today. Your character's knowledge world skills enables you to create or detect forgeries, decipher writing, identify monsters, and recall knowledge about geography. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that because that kind of gives me a sense that maybe I'm a little bit of an investigator. Maybe I'm some sort of I'm an agent of the church. I am a arm of the church essentially, and maybe I'm tasked with hunting down evil or tracking evil, and that would be very useful to have in that kind of situation. Abilities, great. So, our first feat, all of these are feats. Feats give you huge advantages most of the time. The check is saying this is your recommended feat to take. Not necessarily the best feat to take, but the recommended feat to take. I'm going to look through some of these. You are adept at spellcasting. When threatened, you get a +4 bonus made to cast spell or use a spell-like ability. See, now that would be useful. Armor focus. Increases the amount, benefits select, the AC bonus granted. That would be useful, but probably later on, once I find a little bit better armor. Let's see. It kind of gives you a hint on the picture too what it affects. Improved initiative, always useful. Initiative determines what order you fight in combat. So taking improved initiative means you're going to go first more often or be higher in the initiative list more often. I think I'm going to go... shield focus is good too. Anything that gives you additional armor class. Anything that gives you additional damage or additional chance to hit, which I believe weapon focus is. Yep, choose one type of weapon. You gain +1 bonus on all attack rolls you make using the selected weapon. See, I don't know what equipment I'm going to start with. That's the problem. I think I'm just going to take weapon focus for now. Make it at least a little bit easier for me to hit things. And I'm either going to go heavy flail or longsword. Let's stick with longsword. This is a pretty classic like paladin. You know, this is the paladin build essentially. So now I'm choosing my deity. So this is important for a paladin because this is the church that you serve. So it's good to have a deity that has ideals that you agree with, essentially. Abadar, the god of cities, law, merchants, and wealth, is known to be a patient deity, maintaining a strong neutral stance in his actions. He sets forth to expand civilization. Not right for me. Family, farming, hunting, and trade. Lady of Valor is the goddess of righteous valor, justice, and honor. Having served as Erodin's herald, she inherited many of the last Aslanti followers upon his death, and continues to espouse the ideas of honor and righteousness, and the defense of good and the battle against evil. Again, classic paladin. Classic paladin going with that. You know, your favorite weapon's a longsword. Glory, good, law, sun, and war are your domains. Just really a keeper of the peace, you know, upholding the greatest values and honor in society, destroying all evil. That's pretty much the prime paladin. God of enlightenment, self-perfection, knowledge, healing, and inner strength. Teaches temperance and patience. Compassion and peace are her greatest virtues, and if enemies of the faith can be redeemed, they should be. I think I'm going to stick with... I know, no surprise, guys. No surprise here. Not doing anything crazy. This is just straight up paladin build. Which I think is going to work really well for us. Oh, now we get to choose the voice. Obviously, I'm going to be Lawful Good because I have no other choice.
Their life ends here. So many thoughts, so little time.
Defeat is not an option.
You're done for.
My skills exceed yours.
My wounds pile up.
I won't give up.
I shall not falter.
This is my path.
Let's stick with Brave. Birth date doesn't really matter. I'm just going to make it mine. So the 3rd month, fairest, the 9th. Name. Oh, so difficult all the time to choose a name. Let's see. Definitely something... Maybe like Robinard. Robinard Lestrange. Sure. He's gonna be kind of strange with how he presents himself to people, kind of socially awkward like myself. Robinard Lestrange. Sir Lestrange. Let's check everything out. Okay.
We cannot be defeated.
All right. That looks good to me. Complete. Let's dive into this. I'm probably not going to play for too much longer today. I know it's kind of a short episode, but character creation in this game is just a massive undertaking.
Of an outdoorsy sword lord.
Our story started at the mansion of an Aldori sword lord, drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and an equally substantial reward. Heroes of all stripes gathered here.
Where are they? This is taking forever. Didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
That's really quiet. I can barely hear them speaking. Let's try to get in here and... put that up. We can keep ambience down a little bit more. Okay, let's try that out.
If you can't be patient, no one's keeping
That's a
you
little
here.
better.
Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of. The Aldori Sword Lords run the premier school for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevoy. Take that tone with them, and they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
I don't know what's going on. Are you guys hearing that audio echo? I don't know what that's about.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap.
That's really weird.
And if you can't, I'll help you.
Hush! Quiet! They're coming.
Greetings, everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Selimius of Restov. Welcome to my mansion.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable. We need only the best of the best for this task. And I see true heroes before me, strong and fearless. Exactly what Restov needs.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory, and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities. Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the stolen lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state, as well as the noble title of its founder.
Alright, hang on guys. I'm gonna check this out here. I don't know why it's given us a an echo like that. Let's try that. Let's try that.
Unfortunately,
Maybe that's just the way it's supposed to sound here, because there's an echo in the chamber.
A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands, and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
Yeah, I got questions. Alright, Stolen Lands are an almost wholly unsettled region in the northeastern section of the River Kingdoms, bordering the nation of Brevoy and serving as a buffer between Brevoy and the River Kingdoms. There's a whole team, and why not just recognize you're helping us found a barony? What do you gain from such? What rewards can we expect? Oh, why not just recognize the Stag Lord as Baron?
That's a good point. As I see it, this Stag Lord already holds power over the region with confidence. Many noble bloodlines were started by bandits who just got lucky, weren't they?
Perhaps because we do have standards to maintain. This room has seen many celebrations of adventurers, and even those who just got lucky. But giving a noble title to a bandit lord? That's one thing that's never happened here, and it won't while I still breathe.
Okay, I guess she answered that question, didn't she? What do you gain from such generosity?
Don't ask stupid questions. Why should you even care? What they have
Oh,
to gain
well,
and why,
excuse
that's
me.
for Lady Aldori
I
and
remember
to
this guy.
discuss. It's
I
none
hate
of
this
your
guy.
concern.
I
Your
hate
only
him.
concern is to swing your sword around or whatever it is you do.
Of course, we stand to benefit from this enterprise. But if you're concerned that we intend to rule your country from afar, using you as a front, well, please know that these concerns are unfounded. Let's just say that we have a strong interest in the region's stability. We have need of a ruling power we can negotiate with, not bandit gangs and monster hordes.
What is that smell in the air? Is it the smell of unspoken words and political intrigue?
She winks at you coyly. Okay. That's all. It's clear as day.
Excellent. You venture forth tomorrow. For now, you can take some time to get to know one another better. Or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition. I wish you luck.
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Restov, and doubt not for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet, go, and return in triumph.
What a speech. How fantastic.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though
Oh, man.
this is my first real
She's
adventure.
peppy, isn't she?
So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
She reminds me of the Trolls off the movie Trolls, the Disney one. Huh, we've plenty of great feats in store.
Likewise. Actually, I also wanted to ask you something.
Of course you do.
How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious personally. He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is barons wear. Doesn't matter. I don't like him. I think you should be team leader. When I first saw you, I couldn't help but think, now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised in poems and songs. This is the person I'll write my book about.
Aw, so sweet. She wants to write a book about me.
Damn, I should have led with that. Please, just let me explain.
Okay.
You know what the trouble with most heroes' biographies is? They're always written years later, based on the tales of, best case, people who saw things from the outside. Worst case, someone heard about it from their brother, who heard it from their friend, who heard it from their cousin, and so on, adding a new batch of lies each time. Every time I read about a heroic journey, I think to myself, why didn't they just bring a bard with them to write it all down properly?
Very good point. Very good point.
And then I thought, I could be that bard. I just needed to find a suitable hero and volunteer to follow along on their glorious adventure. A great plan, huh? And here we are, with a heroic journey lying before us. Who's going to be the hero? Some dwarf who keeps muttering about how we'll all die? Or maybe that horrific scythe lady? Or, God's forbid, Tartuccio? No
Pretty,
way.
grim batch of adventures, if I say so myself. Not a bad plan. It's settled then. I'll accomplish the feats, and you'll write them down.
Deal.
Deal. Fantastic.
All right. I'm going to my room to write about tonight. See you in the morning.
It is done.
All right, that's done. My quill takes its first sip from the ink pot. Ah, well, okay. Leave the hall. I don't need layabouts on my team. What game is Jamandi playing? I'm not used to feeling like a pawn. At least it won't be boring. Very true. Who are you? Architecture, but very heavy. In my native land, palaces are furnished quite differently. Huh, well. Alright, guys, I think I am going to stop the episode there. Our journey is just beginning. I'm glad we got through character creation, and I kind of created a pretty classical paladin, if I may say so. Next time we'll start this first adventure. I'm not exactly sure how much they changed. So far it's all been pretty much the same, as far as like this whole conversation and stuff. So we shall see. Until next time, it has been a pleasure. My name is Nathan, with the House of Gamers, and hit us up on any of the links you see below if you want to support us, check out our other streamers, or just watch some more of our videos, you know? Subscribe, like. Have a good day.